Hello friends, welcome to youtube.com oblique Dr. Ved channel. I am Dr. P.R. Patel, Professor Head Veterinary Medicine. Here we discuss important bacterial disease and Enterotoxemia type D, and in part 2 we will discuss in detail the pathogenesis of the Enterotoxemia type D, how the disease developed, what pathology it causes in the body, and how the symptoms are developed. Friends, we discuss pathogenesis of Enterotoxemia type D. The organisms which are ingested into the animal are destroyed in large numbers in rumen and abdomen. But those who survive, they multiply and produce toxin. But they do not produce disease because there is movement of ingesta in GI tract down to the intestine. Along with this movement of ingesta, the bacterial population and the toxin also moves further down into the intestine. So there are no chances of absorption of the toxin. Because of the movement of ingesta, the toxemia does not occur. When there is slowdown of the intestinal movement, or when the stoppage or stasis of the intestinal movement, there is accumulation of toxin, and then toxin absorbed into the circulation, leading to the toxin. We know that predisposing factor such as overeating of grain diet, sudden change in ration, continuous feeding of carbohydrate, roughage changed mainly to the grain. All these factors causes stasis of the GI tract. And when there is stasis, there is accumulation of material, ingesta, and there is proliferation of organism, production of toxin, and there is toxin. When there is high feeding of carbohydrate diet, there is large quantity of starch particles in the duodenum, and this predisposes the disease because it causes a favorable environment for the multiplication of Clostridium perfringens type D. Similarly, the case is the heavy milk feeding. That also causes proliferation of the Clostridium type D and production of toxin. The epsilon toxin is important toxin that increases the permeability of intestinal mucosa to epsilon toxin and other toxins also. So all toxins are absorbed into the circulation because of the epsilon toxin. When the epsilon toxin absorbed into the circulation, there are receptors of epsilon toxin in the vascular endothelial cells. They are received there, and it causes widespread vascular damage into the body. And this vascular damage produces pathological damage in that organs and body tissue and produce acute clinical signs, serious of the disease. Toxin produce vascular damage in the body and particularly brain capillaries. And in brain, it causes degenerative necrosis in the various parts, important part of the central nervous system that manifest serious symptoms of the disease. We know that in central nervous system, there is a degeneration of vascular endothelium. And because of this, there is a microscopic foci of necrosis in central nervous system brain. Due to this, there is acute manifestation of nervous signs. The signs we will see in clinical science section. If the necrosis is a focal encephalomyelitis of a non-fatal disease, then the animal manifests a chronic neurological manifestation for a long time. Disease causes extensive endothelial vascular damage that cause accumulation of fluid effusions in various parts of the body. Important organs involved are heart, brain and lung, leads to serious consequences. It is observed on postmortem that there is rapid autolysis of kidney tissue. The kidney looks soft, smooth, wet and pulp-like. So it is popularly known as pulpy kidney disease. This is popular name. Disease causes hyperglycemia due to fast mobilization of hepatic glycogen to glucose into the blood, and this hyperglycemia causes glycosuria, presence of glucose in the urine. Disease causes severe hemoconcentration, and there is elevation of blood concentration of pyruvate, lactate and alpha ketoglutarate. In sheep, there is a pure enterotoxemia case, no tissue damage. But in goat, there is a hemorrhagica enterocolitis. There is enterotoxemia along with damage to the intestine. In subclinical cases, natural immunity is observed due to exposure to non-lethal toxin in some of the cases. When the toxin is in less amount or non-lethal, it may manifest a subclinical manifestation. The epsilon toxin causes vascular damage, capillaries of the central nervous system brain. So the severity of lesion causes severity of symptoms in coordination of movement and convulsion. If the lesions are less severe, mild symptoms, more severe symptoms. In SIP, a characteristic thing is observed is peritoneal and pericardial effusion in this Clostridium perfringens type D infection. Friends, we have discussed important aspect of pathogenesis of Clostridium perfringens type D that help to clinician that how the symptoms are developed, what are the severity of the disease. Please share this information to veterinarians and veterinary students. Please subscribe the channel to promote the channel. Thank you very much for observing this video.